All right, and we are rolling. So this should be a really cool class. I want to cover some neat stuff. Start into patterns. Well, anyway, so welcome to the astrology study group. I just start right now. Let's go. But there's a lot on this channel. If you haven't subscribed, please subscribe and send this out. I'm trying to cover a lot of things and some complicated things and make it understandable. And I'll probably comb and pass through a few things in different ways, because sometimes you get it this way from this viewpoint, but then if I go back from this viewpoint, you might see it better. So it all kind of ties in and starts to make sense because these areas overlap. So I want to just get right in and start talking about some really cool stuff. So we know, and we've been talking about, astrology, and this is all about mathematics and patterns. We've got the planets circling the sun. Basically, that's it. But people get really complicated with that. I mean, of course, you got to look at it from many different viewpoints. So how does it affect you? How does it, it's like that alignment of stuff. And then as it changes, how does it affect you? And then your givens that have that impression, and how is it going to fit with somebody else's givens with a different impression? So there's lots of ways we can look at this and apply this. And then we see where things are moving ahead and how they'll resonate with you in a harmonious way or in a not harmonious way. And someday we'll tie in a lot more on the music level, music and music theory, because math and planets and this is all music. But if you study music at all, even if you don't, your ear can tell you. If you hit like a note, let's say this middle C, I'm not going to sing it because I don't know if I'm going to get close, but anyway, the note, and then you go up a little higher, and another higher, I don't know if I got there. Jackie's much better at that than me. But anyway, so you make these resonating distances according to that first note. Well, if we were to play like a chord, like I'm going to sing this note and then say Jackie will sing that note and then say Sherry will sing that note. And if they were all in certain harmonious notes, we'd sound wonderful. We'd sound like a chord. It'd be wonderful. Now you get one person doing something weird or different that's not in part of that, or and it sounds discordant. But Miles Davis, said there is no wrong note. It's just how you play it. So we put that there. But anyway, there are patterns that definitely sound discordant. So I want to go ahead and show you some of these. And we know that there's different aspects that are discordant, that are hard, hard aspects. A square, we talked about those last week. A square is like, it's a hard angled turn. An oppositions, pulling in different directions. An inconjunct, there's nothing in common. So when these angles hit you or hit parts of you, or some of this resonates on different parts of you, you feel these things, and that allows for the start and stops that we get in life. All right. That being said, I want to jump right in. Okay. Got me singing. Let's look at ephemeris first. Let us look at an ephemeris. And I wish this wouldn't make it smaller. Why does it make it smaller when I have this? Okay, let me see if I can make it a little bit larger for you. Control plus. It says it's 100%. It's lying. It's a liar. It's not 100%. Because I can make it larger. Okay, I'm sorry. I might be seeing it small. You guys might be seeing it large. I don't know, but I hope everybody can see.
I'm not seeing anything. It says it's screen sharing. It hasn't popped up.
All right, I just see it says pause. Why is it pause? Thank you. I was going to ask that. Okay, let me try again. Screen share. I want this one. Share. Is it sharing?
Got it.
Okay, good. Do you guys see it full screen, or is it like half screen or something?
Half screen.
I don't know why. I'm doing it. I'm going up. It's telling me I'm going up in percentage, but it's not making it any bigger for me. Trying many ways. All right. Anyway, I won't stay too long on this one, but if you can kind of get yourself, if you know what ephemeris is, okay, good. I'll go through it. But if you don't know what ephemeris is, we'll kind of go through it sort of slow. On the left-hand side is all the days of the week, of the month. I'm sorry. Actually, let's go on top. It tells us the month and the year, December 2020. And on the far left, it says day, and those are the days of the week all the way through, and it goes to the 31st. And then along the top, it'll have the planets going from the sun out in the order of planets. So if we see the glyphs on the top, there'll be sun, moon, Mercury, Venus, Mars, Jupiter, Saturn, Uranus, Neptune, Pluto, and then that is the node, the moon's nodes. All right, so let's just look at the sun. And you'll see the sun moves about a degree a day. And we know that the very beginning of December, the sun is in Sagittarius. So we will see on the very first line, it'll tell you, it says, okay, it's 9 degrees, Sagittarius, 16 minutes or whatever that is. I can't see it there, 15 minutes. And then each degree, the sun moves about a degree a day. And we see that that's true. And we see that here on like what, the 20, where is it? Shows it here. On the 22nd, late 21st, it would have been, it moved, it changed sign, because you'll see now it says 0 degrees Capricorn. See, it moves sign. So it was probably late on the 21st, because this is for midnight at Greenwich Mean Time. So, 12 hours later at noon, it would have been a little bit different. So we'll just keep that in mind. Now, you look at here, the next chart column over, you see the moon. And at the beginning of December, it says it was, 15 degrees Gemini. And we know the moon moves through each sign in about 2.5 days. So we're seeing we start on it and it's half, the first day of the month, it's halfway through. So another day, it's going to start to be moving out, 1.5 days. So we see it over here on the 3rd. It says 10 degrees Cancer. So now it's in Cancer. And then we'll see that it is, it keeps moving. But it's going to highlight the each Sunday, at least this ephemeris. So we got the 6th, 13th, 20th, 27th, or each Sunday, just so you get some reference in your mind. All right, what else do you need to know? It goes on in each planet. Okay, Mercury, Venus, Mars, all the way out. I won't say them again. Now, one other thing I want you to notice, that it's all the columns go down in black, right? Except where we go over here. It's like, oh, what's up with this one? Uranus, it's red. And then, well, don't worry about the moon node. So what that means, anything that's written in another color, and then some ephemerises are shaded darker, that means that that planet is retrograde. Okay, so it's just going to let you know that its orbit is different. All right, so one other thing I want you to notice here with orbits of the planets. So we saw how fast I was moving. Let's just look at another one. Look at Mercury. Look how fast it's going through its signs. Look, it's going to be almost out of, like, it started at the very end of Scorpio, if I can see it right. Then it moved right into Sagittarius. And then it's out of Sagittarius. Look at here, by the 21st, it's out. And then it's flying on. So when it's going direct, it will be very, very quickly. Then when it starts to slow down, or I should say when it's about to go retrograde, it'll start to slow down. We'll go through Mercury retrograde in another one. But anyway, I want you to see that. So look how it went through one. I mean, it was in one sign, it went through all of one, and then it's part of another in 1 month. If I can see right, yeah, it was still there. Now, just look all the way at the other end. Don't look at the moon node. Look at Pluto. It says 23 degrees Capricorn. Look at the end of the month. It finally moved into 24 degrees. I mean, it's been 23 for months. So it moves very, very slowly. Pluto will only move 2 or 3 degrees a year. All right, so we talked about these cycles. I just want to remind you, get these cycles within cycles. All right, I'm going to show you something else now. Just keep that in mind. Now let's go over to the, the charts. All right, I think you can see, everybody can see that. If you can't, let me know. It should be kind of a large. I think I got it, this one large. Yay.
We've got it.
Okay, good, thanks. All right, this is today. And I'll probably move this other bar, it's in my way. But what I want you to notice is, let me move this out of my way, is the distance, or how these planets are kind of spread out. Okay, so I want you to ignore this moon node, okay, this little thing that looks like the dumbbells, just ignore it. I didn't want to take it off because I have it set, but that's just a place in space where the moon's orbits crosses the ecliptic. We'll talk about that another time, but just ignore that. It's not a planet, okay? So if we, like right now, if we say, just imagine that's gone, And then the moon right now is just moved into Cancer. You know, we've got a full moon because it's opposite the sun, you know, in just a couple more degrees. Well, this was at, well, it's already happened actually. It's past it. But anyway, it's if we can see, just take the moon out of the picture. Now, from down here at Uranus in the bottom of the third house, I mean, again, this is, I just said it for this time, so this doesn't make any difference, but my point is the distance that the planets span in space. All right, so we're down here, and then we go back over here, and then we got the other planet, Venus, over here in the end of it's in the 11th house. So we've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 houses occupied. 4.5. Okay, something like that, because it's like half a house. And if we, you know, I'm just going to take the moon out of the picture, because if we put the moon in a couple of days ago, it would have been back in over here. Okay, it would have been, you know, like 4 days ago, it would have been back over here. So the moon, you know, in 2 days, it'll be up over here. But what my point is, I'm trying to show you how some of the planets can get narrowed and spread out. So just keep that in mind. Now just check this out. Okay, so here for right now, we've got these planets, and everything is moving. The planets are moving, I would say, counterclockwise. See, they're moving into the next signs. So here's like Venus up at the, oh, let's take the sun. The sun right now is in Capricorn. And we know that it's going to travel through Capricorn, and then it's going to move into Aquarius next month, right? In about a month, a little less than a month. And then Venus right now is in Sagittarius, and she's going to be moving this direction, okay? Mercury travels with the sun, so it's going to be going this direction. Everything else is going to be going this direction. Now the moon is zipping around all the time. But now check this out. Just keep this in mind. We're going to watch something. Look at here. Pluto is over here at 24 degrees Capricorn. Now, in about another month, you know that the sun and Mercury are going to be passed. They're going to be into the next sign. They're going to be down over in here. And then Venus is going to be this way. So I want you to just check something out. So what I'm going to do is move that. Let's go to, I'm going to switch charts. Just make sure you can see this chart. Everybody can see this chart? I don't have to move this share screen. Yeah. Okay. So this one is for June 29th. Actually, what I want to do, yeah, I might as well go there.
We'll see in December.
Okay, that's what I thought. If I have to stop share each time, that is weird. All right. Don't like this new software. All right, this should say June 29th, 2021.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. All right, so I'm sorry, this isn't going to be real fluid because of the way this works, but check out the distances now. No, this thing is in my way. So we've got it spread out a little bit more, right? Look at here, Pluto's out here, and now some of these moved. Actually, this is not the one I want to show you. I tried to get these in order. All right, let's do this. I gotta stop share. Start share. You know what? I'm gonna have to do this twice. I gotta click on it twice. Hold on, bear with me. All right, let's go to this one. Is this? No, let me find the ones. I want the year. There we go. Okay, now let me share this with you. All right, that should say January 20th, 2021. All right, this should be the end of January. Do you see that? Okay, if you don't see it, tell me. I'll just put it that way. I'll assume that you see it, unless you unmute, because I don't have to have you keep messing with it. So if you don't see it, just always butt in, stop. All right, so this is January 20th, 2021. I gave you now, so this is a month, you know, a little over, or about a month from now. And look at, again, ignore the moon node. Look how much, look at these. I was trying to show you that these are starting to move here. They're still behind this, of course, because it's January, but look at the difference. Now look at this pattern. So 1, 2, 3, 4. Look at, check this out again. Ignore this. Now there's squares here because we have planets in Aquarius and we have some planets in Taurus, but there's no trines and there's no oppositions and there's no inconjuncts. Let me just let that settle in a second. Some of you may have charts like this and you wonder, why or how that is. And so you think of, we'll talk about these hopefully more in depth today and next time, but just let that settle in. There's more conjuncts, and then there's sextiles, and there's up to a square. No more. So things are only spread out. We got this little bit that's out of orb, with the Capricorn here, but we've got stuff 90 degrees, 90, 105 degrees apart. That's it. But that's just like 90. It's almost there. It's like and I'll show you, if these planets move up, it's going to get a little tighter. All right, so I'm on January 20th. Okay, let me stop share. Hope I can get the February one next. Whoops. Let me go back to that. Gotta do it again. Is it? These are so hard to see. Okay, so that was 0, and then I did 0, 0, I think. Okay, is this March? Let me try it again. 0, June, February. Okay, February. Stop share, start share. I think they'd have this ironed out a little better. All right, February, we're moved several days out. Now, I wish I should have taken this out, but it's getting tighter. So the planets now have moved, the sun and Mercury have moved out of Capricorn. See, look at, they're out of Capricorn and they're now in Aquarius. Look at this big cluster F in Aquarius that we've got coming in. Last year, we had a lot of stuff in Capricorn, but now look at this. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 planets lining up. And this is the middle of February. Look at that. That's another whole class. We'll have to talk about the significance of that. But my point is here now, they've moved on. And the only planet that we have, the last straggler here, is Pluto at 25 degrees. Now, again, we just take this moon node out and look at this. This is still pretty tight. Now, Mars moved out a little bit. See that the month or so many days before, it was on the other side of Uranus. But still, we've got, it's not, maybe we're just starting to form a trine. Yeah, look, it's just starting to open up. So I was showing you on the 21st, right around in that date, which is an interesting date, the 21st of January. For reasons I don't really need to go into at the moment, because I want to stay focused on astrology, but just check that out. That's like things have really narrowed in space. And now it's starting to open up a little bit, because now we got a trine forming between Pluto and Mars. See, now Pluto is not going to move that much more. It's going to just creep this way, and all of this stuff up over here is just going to be flying past. The sun and Mercury are a degree a day, almost like, and Mercury's faster. They're going to be on moving fast. Saturn will still be here going the slowest. It'll be going the slowest through Aquarius, but these other planets are going to be moving out quickly. Now check this out. So now the things widen out again. Let me go to, I think it's this one. Oh, let me show you January. Okay, I did have another one here. Yeah, let me show you this one. Just a little bit after the 21st. This was the 29th, a week later. And now check this out. See, the moon busted out. Woo! The moon was over here before, over in Taurus. See how Mars just popped out, boop, a couple days before, like I showed you the 21st, and all that stuff was back over here, and that's what's real tight. I think that was the tightest when I showed you. I'd have to go look day by day, but it'd be within a day or two. See, look at Pluto over here. you know, Venus just passed it. It just went over it. It was on the other side, you know, and now it's moving. They're all moving on. That was getting tighter. But because the moon has such a fast orbit, it can be the little singleton that breaks away and then opposes this whole group. And we'll look at that with those. These are some patterns. There's like a bowl pattern, you know, with something over on the other side. It's like a bucket or a fan. I'll just prep you. We'll get into that in a second, but I just want you to be aware of this. Okay, let me show you a few more charts. All right, that was there. We did January. There's January. And I want to go to the end of the year. Okay, we'll go to this one. Didn't I do all the way? Hold on. Okay, here's December 29th, 2021, a year later, or I mean at the end. Let me show you that one. All right, now look how much it's widened out in a year. Okay, so January, it was pretty tight. Nothing was hardly more than a 90 degrees. I got like 105 degrees, maybe less, maybe around 100 and some a little bit. That was tight. Now look at how much we've got, like 180 here now. We got the moon opposite Uranus. I mean, the moon is there, but let's just get rid of the moon because that's, you know, because that moves fast. But look at here, we got Mars over here. It's Mars it's at the end of Aries. So between now and next year, it's going to go through, it'll be in the next fire sign. But look here, it's now an inconjunct. So we're at 150 degrees. So in the course of this year, we've had about 50-degree opening and closing of planets. So we had a real tight focus. You know, we're moving into a real tight focus within this next month. We're going to feel kind of crushed and crunched. Okay, the moon is going to be the wild card that'll be opposite of a lot of that. You know, then it's going to join up, and then it'll be opposing and moving. So that can be, you know, and the moon is emotions. So there can be some strange stuff on that. Just want to prep you for that. Okay. December 29th next year, you know, a year from now, we've got, you know, the stuff is pretty much opened up, but these planets close to the sun, you know, the sun is going to be in Capricorn, Mercury is going to be in Capricorn, Venus is close here. It only, you know, Venus is fairly always, you know, within a few planets either side of it. And then they're now getting closer to cluster over here around Pluto. So look at here, 24, 25, 25, right at the end of the year next year, we got a little cluster F around Pluto, all this transformation. The sun is a little bit of ways, but Venus, Mercury, and Pluto kind of all clustered together. Saturn is on the other side of it. And Jupiter has moved already moved into the next sign, just starting to move into the next sign of Pisces, because it will fly through Uranus, enter Pisces. When does it do it? Like, I want to say April or something, real kind of early. And then they'll retrograde back, and then they'll go through all of that again. So it kind of gives us a, you know, of what Aquarius is like. You know, it's going to give us a little flavor, and then it's going to go back, retrograde, and then it'll kind of slowly go through it. So right here at the end of the year, it changes signs. But and then it's going to get closer to make a conjunction over here with Neptune. That'll be interesting. So we have plenty of fun stuff coming up and to talk about. And look at over here, the singleton, the one coming out by itself. Over here, the Uranus is the head of the pack. That's the the irreverent one, the wild card, the tower card, the out of the blue, unexpected is leading the pack as we go into 2022. Okay, so I just want to give you a little prep of how this stuff works. So let me just tie it in with a little bit with karma. And then I'll show you some patterns and what this means. So let's just say you're a soul sitting in between lives. You know, you're doing your past life review or whatever. And you're seeing what you did and you accomplished and everything this last lifetime. And then you are able to look at astrology and go, gee, when stuff lines up over here, that would give me a good chance to finish up this or to move on and over here. And I really need stuff to be focused, because last lifetime I was all over the place, or I was just so tight and focused. I really need to spread out. Because it's like, what if you had a lot of challenges that in a certain lifetime, like, you know, a lot of squares, a lot of oppositions, a lot of inconjuncts. You might then want a real tight chart to kind of just be, to not have any of that and to experience what it is to be focused. All right, let me stop sharing and show you some other fun things. Oh yeah, let's go over here. Okay, so I guess let me find how to get that better for you. Oh no, oh, bear with me. Okay. Oh, I can't minimize. Okay. All right, so let me get this here. Yeah, I just closed it. I didn't need to. I didn't want to. Where is it? I want to get to my desktop, but I can't from here. All right, hold on a second. Programs. There we go. All right. Where is it? There we go. Yeah. All right. So which ones do I want to show you first? And then I'll have to add my screens here. Each one I got to do again. Let's do kind of this bundle. This is what we were just looking at. Okay. Zoom meeting, share screen. It's so much nicer sometimes, I guess. It's hard to put all this on PowerPoints. I like to, but sometimes it doesn't always work. I have too many things. No, that's not what I wanted to give you. We should pull that one up. Okay. Didn't that one come up? It didn't come up. Let's try it again. I'm sorry, I'm having a little technical difficulties trying to get some of this stuff up for you. All right, bundle. That's what I want. Come on. Okay. Now stop share and share. Okay, can you see this? I guess, okay. Hope everybody can see this one. This is called a bundle pattern. And you'll see that these, you know, there's 10 planets. So we got 2, 5, 6, 7, or 9. Sun, moon, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Okay, so we got sun, moon, and some planets. So let's just pretend these are all like, I'm showing you the one that we're coming into, you know, how tight that is. And we could see that these things wouldn't be very far apart. So like, here's our square, you know, things like right here, and then maybe a trine, depending on where they are. So depending on how tightly this is, you can see we're missing a huge amount of the chart. Look at that. So we would have nothing opposing. Look at, there's nothing opposing anything. Like I said, we could have a square, you know, depending on the angles of that. It could be real tight, you know, not have it. We could have a trine, maybe, if depending on the angles of it. But if these are a little tighter, you're not even gonna have a trine. You might just have conjunctions. So what kind of a personality is that, do you think? We'll see how much we can get doing. Look at these. I want to show you these patterns first, just so you know, you just kind of start to think about it in a more right-brained way, and then we'll kind of fill in on the left brain. But look at that, nothing opposing you. You know, this is going to be more of a me centered, because you'd have nothing with no oppositions, no partner, nothing to deal with. So, you know, this is again called the bundle pattern, or it would be a wedge pattern. I've heard these put in a few different ways, but sorry. But this is again a real tight grouping that doesn't have certain aspects, no oppositions, no inconjuncts, maybe no trines, maybe no squares. That would be the only other two other than conjunctions that this pattern would have. All right. Let's get a different one now. Okay. Oh, why does that do that? Okay, let me give you another one. Let me give you, okay, so that was bundle. Let me give you the bowl pattern. All right. Come on. Zoom meeting. And here's our bowl pattern. Can you see if you don't see it, just again, tell me. So this one should be bowl, and you'll see that this one's a little wider now. So now we can have, you can definitely have square, and you can definitely have a trine, but no oppositions. What's nice about a bowl, a true bowl, we don't have any oppositions here. So that one's still kind of, self-oriented, don't have any oppositions, me and you, so it's really hard for sometimes that person to deal with relationships. Maybe that's not the main focus of that life. All right, alrighty then. Let's go to widen it out. I'm trying to get it widening out a little bit easier at a time. You can see them. Let's go for seesaw. Check out this one. I'm going to stop share, screen share. Okay, so this one, it should be the seesaw pattern. Now look at this. They start to do something different. They start to kind of align up on the emphasis is now the oppositions. Look at this. We don't have, you could have conjunctions, of course. These could be conjunct. You may not have squares here. Let's see. No, I'm not seeing anything square. You can't. No, this one's no squares. So, but we could have a ton of inconjuncts and oppositions. The opposition here to here, or the inconjunct there. So this one is fraught with difficulty. This pattern. Lots of relationship stuff, and then the inconjuncts are making you have to conform. You have to adjust. So we have oppositions and adjustment. This would be a tough life. So you might want something that doesn't deal with anybody or anything the next time around. Just supposing. I'm just going to put it out there. All right, let's look at another one. Get back over here. Seesaw. Let's get a splay pattern. All right, let me call that one up for you. Splay pattern. Okay, this should be a splay pattern. And you see this one is starting to be spread out in little chunks. So there, I think I'll get you we'll get into the exact, but there should be at least one stellium or one little grouping in this one. But this one could have opposition. This one could have square. This one could have an inconjunct. This one could have a conjunct. This one could have everything, plus being spread out. Okay, so this would be a little bit of everything, not real focused on one part of something. This one might be a chill, kind of a chill pattern too for a lifetime. It's like, okay, you got a little bit of emphasis of everything, but it's nothing real heavy. And that could make you for a more well-rounded person because you have many aspects. Aspects give you color. They're with what makes you interesting. So if you just have a couple of conjuncts, you might be a little boring. You might be a little chill. You might be just a little introspective. Don't mind my irreverence, of course. But it's this way for a reason, because it's needing to be chill or boring or not a big spotlight on a whole lot of stuff after certain types of activity and craziness that somebody's dealing with. It might be just like, no, I don't have a lot of interests. I don't have a lot of goals. I don't have a lot of ambition. I'm just happy in the now. And we all know people like that. All right. Let's go to another one. All right. Let me go to one more here. Let's do the splash. Let's screen share. Okay. Splash. All right. There we go. The splash. Now this one's pretty much all over the place. There may not be any conjunctions, but there may be something all over. So even, oh, why did I do that? Okay. So this, if there's everything, this is like one of the most wide out spread patterns you can get. It's like, there's showing you it could be 2 in 1, but that one could even be spread out. That's the most you can have is, 10 houses filled here. There might be 2 singletons, 2 unoccupied houses. Okay, So this would give you a lot more dynamics, a lot more of the aspects now, wouldn't it? All right. So let's look at some of these a little more. Let me give you just some, we'll go over these in way more detail, but I want to give you something else to think about with these. Where are they? Oh, I didn't show the locomotive. Got one more. The locomotive. Locomotive. All right, the locomotive. Look at this one. This one's kind of like the bowl, but it's more spread out. You know, this is, and it's kind of like the splay or the splash, but it's all organized. And then there'll be one head and one caboose. There'll be one planet that's definitely stronger. I think, like I showed you now, we're coming into maybe like a locomotive. It's starting to spread out, where Uranus was definitely the head of the pack. It was like, that eccentric energy is just going to lead everything, because it's the one that's ahead in orbit. So if you got something in, say, Taurus, and then everything is behind it, so you've got stuff in Aries and in Pisces and then stuff in Aquarius and still hanging out there in Capricorn. All right, that the Capricorn, like that Pluto, would be the caboose, and then the head of it would be the furthest planet moving, you know, ahead there in the zodiac. So this one could be very dynamic too. This one could be a real I mean, we could have all of these different angles, but then you've got one planet that's just barreling ahead. Okay. Now, I want to show, let's go through some of these. Okay, we'll just go over it. We'll just kind of, let me just see if I can find these. All right, this one is a bowl. If all 10 planets, I'm like this, oh no, you can't see it, hold on. Oh yeah, this is pain doing it. All right, if all 10 planets fall within 6 consecutive signs, this is what gives the planet the half circle look of a bowl. The bowl type tends to be thoughtful and self-contained. These people learn and profit from their experiences in life. They have particularly forceful personalities if the bowl is entirely in the top half or the bottom half of the horoscope circle, or it is entirely on the left side or on the right side. And we'll talk about those in particular. So you just imagine that if it's all in the top part of the chart, it's going to be totally different than if it's all in the bottom or left or right. And they all have significance. All right, we'll get into that, but I want to just point these out to you. Okay, so bowl. Let's look at the bucket, or also called the fan. Depends on how you want to term your handle. Bucket. Okay, so this one is 8 or 9 planets fill one half of the horoscope, and the remaining planet or 2 together is in the opposite half of the circle. This 10th planet forms the handle of the bucket and is called the singleton. The bucket people tend to have a single mind, drive toward achieving a goal. They marshal their energies in one direction, and then often the singleton planet indicates the goal or direction that the bucket type pursues. You know, I think I showed you, like, with the moon being opposite of like all of that stuff, that would be getting all of that energy from a lot of the planets being, you know, focused on that one singleton planet. That's this breaks out about away from the pack, put it that way. So it's going to be the renegade. So you can see that handle would have a, you know, that directing energy. So it's like, just think about it. And then that handle, if it's exactly like nice and even, but other times it's like off center of the pack. So it can let you, is that person leaning more spiritually or more materialistically? Let's put it that way. Another little nuance. Bucket. All right, let's do. Can I get this one? Go on a little bit more. Okay, so this person, give you this reading. Come on. Doesn't want to do it. Okay, here we go. Let me read this one a little bit more on that for you. Bucket, where are you? Okay. The handle becomes important. It represents the outlet for the energy stored in the bowl. It is the singleton that can indicate the special capacity or talent through which the individual will express himself. The position of the singleton is important too. It can stand, if it stands straight up in relationship to the bowl, the person knows what to do and how to go after it. If it leans to the left, he knows and feels that what he wants, but he loses steam halfway in going after it. And so he has to try harder. If it leans to the right, he overdoes and puts forth more effort than is really necessary. Operating positively, the bucket person can inspire or teach others. At its worst, the bucket person becomes an agitator. The bucket pattern is the second most common pattern. All right. Bucket. Let's read a little bit more about, did I get this one to you? No, the bundle. Okay. Oh, share the bundle. All right. Ignore the bottom. That was the next thing on underneath it. The bundle is, they're all closely grouped together in a few signs, in very few signs. In addition, the signs must all be consecutive. This is the rarest pattern of all 7. Here, the individualist is the specialist, someone whose work or interests revolve around one concern or point of view. Bundle types do best applying themselves to one subject and becoming an expert at it. I would want this person to be, you know, like the brain surgeon. Your brain surgeon. I wouldn't want the brain surgeon to be a singer, a painter, a martial artist, a drag car racer. You know, it's like, no, just keep your interests on fixing the brain. Okay, so definitely. Okay, buckets. What else we do? Buckets, bundle, locomotive. Let's look at, oh, yeah, while we're there. Okay, let's look at the locomotive. Locomotive. All right, 10 planets are placed within 2/3 of the chart, leaving an empty space of a trine. It leaves 120 degrees unoccupied. So this formation is not valid if the planets if there's an open space that exceeds 65 degrees. Okay, then get real specific. The locomotive gives a certain balance, since the empty trine symbolically gives a free span of experience set against the limited span embraced by the 2/3 of the planets. Yet this can give a strong sense of lack, forcing the individual to solve problems or perform tasks. This shows a driving person who brings much power to bear in order to achieve. He's often found moved by external factors rather than his own tendencies. Yet he has much practical ability and can go far when he uses this ability positively. This pattern is the 3rd most common one. It's important to determine the engine of this pattern, the planets that will motivate the locomotive into action. All right, and it just talked about that one. It was an example, but I'm not going to look at that one right now. Seesaw. 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 Okay. The seesaw pattern. All right. It's also could be called the hourglass pattern. So here we find 2 groups of planets opposed to each other. Remember, they were like on either side there. As for an example, 2 houses with planets opposing 3 houses with planets. Okay, this pattern requires a square of open space on one side and more than a sextile of open space on the other. This is the most common of all patterns. Wow. Oh my goodness. So there's an open square, but there's nothing in it on one side, and then a sextile of 60 degrees on the other, and the rest of them occupy in that. Here is, let's see, this pattern requires okay, I said that. Here the person needs to learn how to weigh and balance his life, because his natural pattern is that of the teeter-totter, always being pulled first in one direction and then the other. He is prone to act under a consideration of the opposing view and therefore tends to live in a world of conflict. Yet when this energy is positively used, he is capable of unique achievements, because he can learn true awareness by understanding and using the opposite polarity. Used negatively, he will waste time and energy. All right, we'll go into these again more, and we'll look at other people and stuff, but I just want to plant the seeds and start getting you thinking how this works. Let's see, do I have another one on this one? Okay, I'm just going to read it. So this is just a little one. I'll get another one. Okay, so more on the seesaw. Actually, I'll let you do it. I'll share it. There we go. It's not that big a deal. No, I won't do it. I'll share. Come on. Share screen. Okay. This shows you a little bit more. In between two populated sides of the circle are empty spaces. There must be at least two empty signs on either side of the seesaw. These personalities are always able to see two sides of a question. They take into consideration opposing viewpoints and opinions and weigh these when making their decisions. As one astrologer put it, they see life through a contrasting set of windows. And it's always about, we got us and them, and different people, and lots of stuff going on there. All right, let's do the display pattern. All right, display, and we'll read the fan too. It's just a different way of interpreting it. Here we go. I think you got that. Okay, so the display pattern is when it's like spread out. So called the tripod pattern, this pattern has 3 distinct points in the chart. And if perfect, some of the planets within the 3 points form a grand trine. So they would be trine, trine, trine. So, okay. This pattern has tremendous momentum and can produce geniuses. But even the average person will be able to make his own anchorage in existence, and with a rather intense and fiery nature, can rarely be limited to one point of application. The harmonious flow created by these 3 points, where one reaches out for the other, will always be helpful. Let me just read the fan while we're there. It's similar to the bucket, only instead of a bowl, we have a tight bundle and one singleton planet. So it's a little tighter. Okay, basically. The fan seems to rather act as input to the bundle, as if it were the driver's seat directing the bundle into action. This one author feels the handle of the bundle is the effect, where the handle of the bowl is the cause. Let me read that again. So if it's a tight bundle, okay, so the handle of the tight one, the bundle, is the effect. There's I think I got somebody here. So there's that is pushing that in. I just lost my train of thought. I was seeing somebody here. Okay, so anyway, it feels like the handle is the effect, and then where the bowl, it's the cause. It causes. So the one on the bowl, that singleton causes the bowl to react, where the tightness is so tight, it's kind of like push out toward and causing toward that one poor little singleton planet. All right, I think we have, let me go here. We're good? Yeah. Okay, I think we have one more I want to cover for you. And want display. And go to this one. Display. It's similar to this. Okay, we just did this one. Actually, I want to show you. Let me just show you this one, then we'll go back. Okay, so this one is still display. That's the one. The key difference, we're going to go to the splash in a minute. Okay, we already said there's one stellium, which is like conjunction. Display person is very individual and refuses to be, this is in my way, regimented by others. That is something right over here on me. Others' rules or conventions. He or she will tend to have unusual tastes and interests and will follow those dictates and no one else's. All right, I'm gonna get the last one for you. So we can see that this one can be a little bit more focused in it's grabbing on a lot of things in its drive of energy. Okay, that's where I want to put it. Now, where's the splash? Do I have a splash here for you? Oh, goodness. There's so many little windows here. Bear with me. Splash. Okay, there it is. And share this one. All right, like you can probably imagine, it's going to be spread out, but in this chart, the planets occupy as many signs as possible, scattered all over many of the sections. Like we said, there could be maybe 10. This type of person has great many interests in life, studies studies or reads about a wide variety of topics, may be proficient in a number of areas. The problem is that sometimes the splash type scatters his or her energies. This could be the jack of all trades, master of none. Okay, so I know that was a lot. There was a lot there. So just to recap, kind of give you an overview again. I gave you the charts of what's going on now, and we're coming into, as we come into January 2021, the planets in space are going to narrow. We're going to get, some of these, it's going to go from a bowl to a bucket. And then depending on the moon is our only planet that can be the singleton right now, because everything is so tight. Every now and then there'll be one that's, in a different orbit that's be away from the rest based on what it is. And this is what's really interesting. You can see that, like what, looks like your bundle. Good. So, yeah. So we can go look through an ephemeris, and when you can, you can put it on a chart, or what I've made is, I should make these, I'll market these someday, or somebody can. This is just a piece of magnetic board, and I've got these little planets, magnets, and then I just wrote the glyphs on them, and I just put the lines on this with tape, and then I used white paint, and then I just made myself a chart so I can move these all around. These can be moved. So right now, this is right now. So this way I can see what's going on in space. And then here's what, this is a moon node. Somebody just like you could take off the moon nodes so because they're confusing. Where's the other one? Here's the south node. And then there's Chiron, I think. Yeah, Chiron. We move that out of there. And then here's the moon. So this is, we could use that as your singlet. You can see how tight it's getting now, right? So we've got Uranus here in Taurus, and then we got Venus over here. So Venus is going to move, into Capricorn over here. And then these things are going to move, that's going to be there. But these are going to move out of here. The Sun and Mercury are going to move out of here, and this is going to move out of here. And then Mars will start moving. See here, see how tight we are, but we got Mars movement too a little bit. But see how tight everything just got. Go this way. Look how tight that is. See here, we have some of these patterns. So like if we have the moon now, going this way. So the moon now could be making, those patterns, like we said, the bucket, the bowl, and then that handle would be, where it is. So this person could be, waiting, for that moon to be in a certain way before it wants to come out of mama to learn what it needs to learn. So it's in this mess. It's all like now a real tight pattern again. And then we have it, moving out into here. And then again, coming up after January, these are going to start widening out again. And the Sun and Mercury, by next year, they're going to be, in the summer, right? They'll be over here in Cancer. In the late summer, in the fall, they'll be down here. See, we just widened the pattern out again. And Mars is going to be moving over here. So all these are going to start to move. There's Venus. Here's Venus. Venus will be moving. These will be moving. But this will be here, this will be here, and this will be here. All these will start to move. But now you can see now how we've changed all these patterns. So we can start getting some of these splay patterns and put the moon back in. We've got splash patterns and how this all can be moved out. So as the summer goes on, you can see how the ones with the Sun are going to move, and then they'll come together again. So we kind of have to base it on the outer planets, see where they're at, because those are tight, and we are just coming out of this really tight conjunction. All that stuff was was over here in Capricorn, so they're starting to spread out now. And then we have the only other thing farther away is Neptune over here in Pisces. So stuff can start to group around that soon, but we're still going to get a while before Pluto moves off, because that's the one that moves like 2 or 3 degrees a year. So it's going to be a while before it really moves up over in here. Okay, so I hope that gives you some idea on how planets move around and these cycles move around, and how people can, I think, choose to incarnate and use those energies to see what you need to do. Once you start understanding this, you go, oh man, I want to do this. I need to go in on this or something, because that would be better for me. In the future, you could just see that. It's like, if you're at one point, it's like, God, I'd like to be a blah, blah, because there's, done being this, and you can. And I think we all kind of keep coming in and out with those patterns as those things cycle around and round to get those lessons in different parts of our planet. Okay, I know this gets a little esoteric and I want to kind of keep it, well, it's all real, but I want to keep it where you can understand it, you know, and then we can go off on our own spiritual belief systems. But I want to try to give you something where you can see that it's real and give you something, food for thought, something to think about. So happy 2021. We'll see you all next year. Oh, I know what I was going to do. I was going to one other thing. Okay, I got a couple minutes. I'll probably get into this more next time, but I wanted to make a list of your planets and the degrees in your chart. So like just make a list, you know, run down. So you have sun, 5 degrees, moon, 6 degrees, Mercury, 15 degrees, whatever it is, just write them all out, write all the degrees. And then note, we'll get into this in another one, but I wanted to give you some homework. Note what it's like, do you have stuff on like all over, or is there anything at similar degrees? Like I've got 3 things at 6 degrees in my chart. So anytime something's that hits 6 degrees, it hits me a little bit more specifically, but then it creates different angles, but that's an important degree. My husband's got something at, you know, all 10 of his things are all at different degrees. And then it's important to see, are they early in the numbering system, in the middle of it, or in the end? Do you have things like a lot of things at 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 degrees? Do you have a lot of stuff in the middle, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15? Do you got a lot of stuff hanging out at the end, 26, 27, 28? All right, so that will tell us some other little stories and some other ways of noting when these energies come around. You know, the moon every month, it hits those certain degrees. What's it doing for you? And it hits a certain pattern. A certain thing will always ding with you. You know, the sun every year, it dings, it hits this first, then this, and it makes these patterns. All right, so we'll hopefully get into that next time, because it's really important to kind of understand how things set you off, how the certain rhythms of things hit in you. You know, it's like, okay, if it hits this, it makes, you know, it starts with a square, and then it gives you a trine, and then you get this or that, and then the next time it comes, it hits that, it does that same little patterning. All right, little prep on that. So just kind of write that down and just take a little note of that, and we'll get into that more next time. All right, so if you can please help me spread the word, Astro Breeze on YouTube, and subscribe, share the links. I want to help people understand astrology and these complicated subjects and get it a little bit easier. So be safe, be well, and see you next time. Bye-bye.